These are absolutely beautiful cars, and they have a new feature called Steamlighting. What they have done is they've put several bulbs up on the roof of the car, maybe 13 or 14 in this car right here, and it provides a beautiful overall glow in the car, allowing you to see the people and the tables and the full interior of the car. But it has one problem. It draws so much current that I've noticed that after you run them for a while, the cars start flickering and start looking pretty ugly like this. Well, the problem is right here. The spring that holds this roller flat down against the rail has overheated due to the lighting and lost its tension right on that curl. I'm showing you this in hopes that you'll see this before you run your cars, because what we're going to show you today is how you can prevent that problem. You can order replacement parts from K-Line. They'll ship you a roller that has a lot of good tension like this, so it presses on the center rail and the lights won't flicker. But if you don't do the fix that we're about to show you, after a few times around the track, it's just going to heat up and go bad again. On all of your good rollers, the ones that aren't damaged, to prevent that from happening, just remove these two screws. One screw has a wire on a lug under it. Lift this off. And this is the part we're going to work on. We're going to add a wire so that when it's done, it looks like that. Once you've removed the roller assembly, as long as the spring tension is still good, we're going to burnish two spots, one on the arm and one on the frame, and we're going to tin it with solder before we put the connecting wire across the spring. If you have a Dremel tool, just put the little burnishing tip in it and just scrub it off like this. There. If you don't have a Dremel tool, you can accomplish the same job by using an X-Acto knife with a curved blade on it and just get some of the anodized coloring off of the metal so that the solder has something good to stick to. Some K-Line cars have a roller like this, and I've noticed the other ones have the black roller. In either case, you need to burnish a spot on there so that it's nice and clean so that the solder will stick well. You need to use a multi-strand wire, like the kind of wire that you get for collector rollers on locomotives. You don't need the insulation, so let's get the insulation pulled off of here. I'm going to pull it back a little bit, but before I slide it all the way off, I'm going to twist it so that the filaments of the wire are nice and tight, like that. To measure the amount of wire you need, just hold it up to the spot like this, and with a pair of wire cutters, cut it off like that. Let's tin the frame and the roller arm first. Now, because there's a lot of metal, you're going to have to put quite a bit of heat here for the solder to flow. So apply the heat directly to the bare metal spot that you just burnished off. Put the solder on the tip and leave it there and wait until you see it flow into a little bubble. There it goes. And then do the same thing on the base. Now we also need to tin this little wire strap that we're making. So we'll just put a very tiny drop on each end of the wire. Remember to leave the gun on the wire long enough that it soaks into the wire. There we go. Then one on this end. Since things are going to get pretty hot, I'm going to put this into a vise. Pick up our little wire strap with a pair of long nose pliers, and we're going to first solder it to the frame that holds on to the roller. So we get to put quite a bit of heat on here because the frame is absorbing the heat. And you want to make sure that you have heat on both the wire and the frame. There. Now we'll let that cool just a minute. Tug on the wire. That's good. Let's put the other end over onto this piece right here. This is going to take a lot of heat too because the long nose pliers are acting as a heat sink here. But that's got it. So let's let that cool a bit. Nice and cool. Now we can take it out of the vise and we'll test it and see how the strap works. There, that's working fine. What will happen now is all the amperage that the roller picks up from the center rail won't go through the spring. It'll go through that wire strap instead and save the spring to do its job to keep tension on the roller. Okay, now we need to put the collector roller back onto the car by slipping it underneath this wire strap, putting the screw through the eyelet, through the frame of the roller, and into the plastic frame on the truck. We'll put the second screw in, and secure the frame onto the car. But we also have to make sure that this red wire isn't going to rub when the roller is pushed down. See that? We've got to make sure there's no interference like there is right now. So what we'll do is just move this over a little bit like that and position the wire in between the wheel and the roller frame, and then tighten that down. Like that. Now the roller won't interfere with the wire, and neither will the wheel. Do this same preventive fix on the other end of the car, on the other truck. Do that to all your cars, so when it runs around the layout, it looks like this. K-Line's beautiful stream lighting will go all the way down the line, no flickering, no flashing, and the springs will never overheat.